What if I told you that there was a technology that not only allowed inciters of genocide, mass murderers, and neo Nazis to congregate and communicate, but also turned everyday people just living their lives into before mentioned pieces of shit? And what if I told you that that technology was Instagram? Hi, I'm Sydney Wu, and you are listening to Bubble Letters.
All right, here we are outside the Meta sign, and here is how it is described by one Madeline Castro.
Okay, so basically when it was still Facebook, it was much cooler because it was just a round Facebook sign. It was basically just the logo and it looked actually kind of sick. And now it just looks like a lame-ass billboard, and it's really unfortunate because why the fuck would you want to take a picture with it? Actually, can I say that or no?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna flip it off now and take a picture.
Way that's pretentious as hell.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Pretentious and disappointing.
The path that led me to flip off the sign of one of the largest companies in the world started about a year ago when a shooting threat at my school was announced on Instagram. And while the police detained the would-be shooter in his home before he could hurt anyone, in some ways, to me, the most disturbing part of the event wasn't the shooter at all. That day, after driving my brother and I back home from school, I came home, dropped my backpack on the floor, and did what I do every day when I come home from school. I opened Instagram. But instead of just scrolling through memes endlessly like on a normal day, I pulled up the shooter's Instagram account. And that was when an 18-year-old with zero investigative skills was able to find references to guns, drugs, and the Third Reich within about 30 seconds on a public Instagram. Events like this seem to be all too common in the modern world, where you see a horrific act of violence, and when you trace it back, you find evidence of racism and hate, all spurned by online echo chambers. One of the most extreme examples of this is the Christchurch massacre, in which a gunman, following his post of a racist manifesto and several racist memes, opened fire and killed around 51 people. Facebook live streamed this massacre, and in the wake of the tragedy, Zuckerberg made several statements to the press. Here is Zuckerberg addressing extremist content on his site.
Sure. Thank you, Congressman. This is an important set of topics. In terms of groups, we stopped recommending all civic and political groups, even though I think a lot of the civic and political groups are healthy, because we were seeing that was one vector that there might be polarization or extremism, and groups might start off with one set of views, but migrate to another place. So we removed that completely, and we did it first as an exceptional measure during the election, and since the election, we've announced that we're going to extend that policy indefinitely.
Zuckerberg can say what he wants, but whistleblowers from inside Facebook claim that the company makes almost no effort to block extremist content, and the majority of it is not taken down. Posts that encourage violence are brought to life by people who are pulled into extremist chat rooms and online communities. And that is what brings me back to Meta. Facebook, in some ways, could be considered the printing press of our time, revolutionizing communication and changing our lives forever. But behind all of the colorful icons and funny memes lies the dark truth of humanity. The iridescent and gossamer bubbles that fill our phones also fill our phones with hate speech and lies. And the dangers of the internet and the effects of the echo chambers are felt even if you don't use social media. They're felt if you shop in malls, attend church, or send your kids to school. Bubble Letters will return after these regularly scheduled messages. Fritos. Delicious, salty, made of corn. Eat some so that they'll give me money. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program. When you're sitting on your dorm room floor, surrounded by papers detailing how a genocide was started on Facebook, the only thing you can do is look right back up at the top. Is Facebook inherently evil, or is it that it's being run poorly? The answer to this lies with a single quote from Mark Zuckerberg, detailing how Facebook does not pursue Holocaust denial content, even when Holocaust denial is illegal in the countries in which Facebook is operating, demonstrating clear negligence and a disregard for human safety. more about social media from my interview with Matt Heinley. So, in your research for social media, what would you say kind of might be in the design of social media that can affect people's brains and interactions and kind of mental health?
I think the biggest piece is the addictive nature, because there are many effects of social media, behavioral changes, personal relationship changes, the time consumption on social media. But the addiction piece is what really gets people coming back, and there are designs in place in social media to keep you addicted, keep you coming back, and that allows all of those effects to really manifest.
Even with all of the paramounting evidence, it's hard to believe that no action has been taken to either address the addictive properties of social media or the spread of extremist content. We sign in every day and open posts that are written in colorful bubble letters, but we don't link how this is the same platform on which genocides, mass murders, and insurrections are formulated and executed. Our digital lives are clearly not in good hands, and we know that social media isn't going anywhere and that none of us are going to stop using it. So we must ask ourselves, what change needs to be made? Thank you for tuning into Bubble Letters with me, Sydney Wu. I hope to be seeing you again soon.